Hello and welcome to Capes and Coffee, your quick and nitty-gritty look into all things real-life superheroes.
This episode will be the first of many in regards to outreaches.
We want to focus on outreach since it is one of the two biggest forms of RLSH work, the other being investigative crime prevention, which we'll be sure to dive into soon enough. But for now, outreach.
This week we'll have some great insights on outreach work from Dusk Citizen. Good Samaritan actually met up with them very recently.
Think of Dusk as a weird hodgepodge between Where's Waldo and that kid who got hopped up on Hawaiian Punch at the birthday party, even though I specifically told Stacy that red food dye makes him really hyper. Now I have to deal with that aftermath. Thanks a lot, Stacy. Thanks a lot. But seriously, Dusk is a good guy with great experience that has served him well over the years, volunteering his time and energy to the people in the Staten Island area. It was a real treat being able to work with him. And if you ever need any solid advice about how to do proper outreach work when it comes to the unhoused, you really can't do any better than Dusk Citizen.
Speaking of Dusk, here is their video where they gave some really great tips.
Hello, this is Dusk Citizen, real-life superhero of New York City. I'm actually here in Florida, in St. Pete's, helping out with the unhoused individuals, and I'm here to give you a couple of pointers on how to properly do your own handout. First couple of ground rules: you obviously don't want to take any photos or video of any unhoused individuals without their explicit consent. Otherwise, for the most part, you can get anything you need for a handout at your local Sam's Club, at your Costco, dollar store, Trader Joe's even. And most things that go into these care packages, you get reusable water bottles, some toiletries like toothpaste, some combs, wet wipes, napkins, chewy foods like granola bars, as well as other things like Mylar reusable blankets, ponchos, and other weather-appropriate things depending on where you are. Happy to help, and I hope that you, in your future costumed activism adventures, can also help your local unhoused individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Dusk. That was super informative and really helpful.
Especially considering how it doesn't take much to make a good outreach work.
Exactly. Let's talk about the three basic things Dusk said that we should all remember. The first is no photos or videos of unhoused individuals without their express consent. The second is that supplies for care packages can be found in many different stores in your area. And the third, think about what supplies you're going to be bringing and putting into your care packages. Those really should depend on the needs of the people you're helping.
First, no consent, no picture. This is something that I think a lot of RLSHs, especially in the beginning, I know when I started, I had this struggle of not realizing that these are, it sounds terrible to say, but not realizing that these are other human beings that we're dealing with. And that we're coming into, whereas it seems like, oh, it's just the street to us. Well, this is their backyard. This is their front yard. This is their kitchen. You know, this is their dining room. We're walking into their space. And coming in with a camera, whether it's a video camera, camera on our phone, doesn't matter. It feels very dehumanizing for them to have people shoving cameras in their faces. It's a very disrespectful thing to do, and it's very tacky. The only time we ever want to have a camera out is if we ask them and they say, sure. Or if they ask specifically, because a lot of these folks have their own phones, maybe they want a picture. And in which case, we'll take a picture with them for their phone. We'll take a picture with them for our phone. Again, we ask, hey, is it okay if you want a picture with us on your, can we also get a picture with you and post it on our Instagram? And they'll say, normally they'll say, yeah, sure, absolutely. But it's very important that we recognize the autonomy that these individual people have. And to just go in willy-nilly with a camera out, not taking into consideration what they want, we're taking their autonomy away from them.
Right. You have to remember that these are people just like anybody else. Like, would you go up to somebody on the sidewalk and start taking pictures of them? That's really freaking rude.
And
Also,
creepy.
also another thing that many people might not know is that one of the most common reasons for someone to become unhoused is that they were in an abusive situation and they were forced out of their home, or their parents kicked them out, or any other number of situations. And photos of them or videos of them out on the internet could put them in direct danger. So you really want to be considerate of that because you have no idea why somebody is where they are.
Absolutely.
The second thing is, where can you get your care package supplies?
I really liked that Dusk mentioned everything from Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club to Dollar Tree. I don't think a lot of RLSHs starting out understand how really easy it is to get started making your care packages. Yes, you can do what many heroes like Patriot here or Justice Johnson do when they approach different companies or organizations and are able to get large amounts of socks or large amounts of blankets or what have you. And that can come off as a bit daunting at first. I know it can be for someone like me, even now, but it's so simple it's so easy to go to a Walmart and just stock up on things like toothbrushes and toothpaste and deodorant and things of that nature. You'd be very surprised how much you can get at a Dollar Tree.
Right. One thing that I like to tell people sometimes is budget for this. Like a good rule of thumb for me personally is 10% of my income. I set that aside for this. I have that in the bank. And whenever I go to Walmart, like for groceries or shopping for my own personal needs, I look in the clearance section. Oftentimes, there's a lot of things that go in there that might be useful. Another thing that I like to do is check out Dollar Tree, where everything's like $1. Also, be sure to look and see if there are other discount stores in your area. Just take your time, take a day off to check out all the different discount shops, thrift stores, etc. You never know what you might find.
What I really like about Dollar Tree and Dollar General and those specific kind of stores is that normally the products that they sell are smaller. And the thing about those smaller products is that you can get so many of them and they fit with so many other those they make great care package items because of their size. You can get a lot in a Ziploc bag about this big, yay big, with little deodorants that are this big, or little toothbrushes and toothpastes. And it's Dollar Tree and Dollar General and places like that are a real godsend when doing outreach work.
Also, a Costco membership that can really help. And sometimes they'll even deliver your order right to your house.
So many easy ways to give. And finally, what specifically is needed for your care packages? I feel like this is something that many people don't necessarily take into consideration, but depending on what city you're in, what state you're in, what season you're in, is it summer? Is it winter? Is it spring? Is it fall? These are the kind of factors you need to take into consideration. Also, one thing that a mentor of mine once told me years ago when I was doing outreach work on Skid Row in Los Angeles, I had a mentor who used to be on the streets himself on Skid Row. He and his wife managed to get out of it, get on their feet, but they kept going back to Skid Row to give to others, to help others. And he had mentioned to me, I brought care packages with almonds, little prepackaged almonds from Trader Joe's. He said, it's very kind, it's very great of you, but what you don't know is that there are a lot of people who, whether it's because of maybe they're on meth or some kind of drug that has an effect on their dental health, or maybe simply because they don't have proper uh, they don't have proper dental health routines. They're losing their teeth. They're not able to chew on hard nuts because they just pretty much have gums. So you should get them more chewy snacks like a fruit roll up. And that blew my mind because I never thought of that. I never took that into consideration. And now I try to really think about, okay, well, what is this person dealing with on a daily basis? What's this person struggling with on a daily basis? What does this person need on a daily basis that maybe I just take advantage of? Socks are a big deal. Um,
Right. Socks definitely are a number one thing. I know that Master Legend has done a ton of outreaches toward the unhoused populations in his area when he was back in Orlando. I actually read this in a book where he talked about it recently. Peter, The Rise of Superheroes and the Fall of Everything Else. That's actually in there.
it's literally in my room right over there, and I've read the intro, and then that's it because I'm not much of a reader. Thanks, ADD.
But yes, socks, number one thing. I know that Bombas has a donation program. You can try to get on their wait list, but it's a long wait list. But socks, toothpaste, toothbrushes, chapstick, water
Mylar,
bottles.
Mylar blankets.
Yes, also I have heard that Mylar blankets can be a bit flimsy, so whenever you give them out, give out 2 at a time. It
Oh,
helps.
it's good. That's good. We'll start doing that. BCG will start doing that. I don't think we give out 2 at a time, but I'll talk to Impact about that. See, I'm learning. I'm learning now. Just there's always something to learn about how you can help your fellow man, about how you can help your neighbors in your community. You'll never stop learning. If you think you figured it all out, you haven't, trust me. There's always something new to pick up. There's always an interesting tidbit or trick or way of applying your ingenuity to make sure that you're absolutely doing your best for those in need.
Right. Another big thing that really helps is to do some outreach as gray man. Like just as a regular person, you go out and you might see somebody who needs help. You hand them what you might have on hand. You talk to them, sit down with them, treat them like another human being because that's literally what they are. But you can learn a lot of really good, useful things. Like you can learn about crime in your area. That often ties into it a lot. The unhoused population can be your number one informant. That's another reason why it is so important, even if all you want to do is crime prevention.
Absolutely. It's interesting how these different, outreach and crime prevention, many times they do intertwine and go hand in hand. And I think a lot of RLSHs who would rather do crime prevention don't see the benefit of doing both. I feel that going into gray man is a better and more efficient and quicker way of finding out the needs of the unhoused in your area than, say, going out in a bright colored costume and expecting to get answers. You're not going to. We in the Bay Coast Guardians have developed trust with the community over the past years since 2017 now. So they know us. They know that we're going to come out and give them supplies, give them things that they need, and so they're open to us. They'll tell us about what they want, what they need. But that was something that took a while. When we first started going out, they didn't know who we were. They looked crazy to them. But if you really want to hit the ground running, as far as getting that information, finding out what those needs are, you will get it quicker starting out with Gray Man. Again, nothing wrong with wearing bright, colorful costumes. I think that's great. I think it's fun. But again, beyond having fun and looking good, you should be focused on what can I do to help? What's the quickest way? What's the most efficient way that I can get my questions answered about what needs these folks have? And that's something that you're going to want to have that mentality in everything you do as an RLSH. This is fun. This is great. That's a big reason why a lot of us do it. But we have to also understand that there's that balance of let's have fun, but primarily let's help people.
Right. The suit does fill another need sometimes, which is getting attention to a particular issue, because one thing that I've noticed is that people more easily ignore just a regular person helping someone out. But if somebody wearing something a bit outlandish does it, they're like, huh, so that is a problem. The thing is that you have to use everything at your disposal to bring attention to the need, helping fill the need. That's the important thing.
And look at Sweet doing it. No, joking. Don't mind me, I'm an idiot. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Also, another thing that many people might not realize is you should be, whenever you bring food, it should be pre-packaged food, primarily.
Yes.
Because first, there might be some law against handing out food whenever you don't have a health license. Second, they don't trust you. They don't know who the heck you are. You could be one of those YouTubers making a prank video where you just go up to them with a camera in their face, hand them some food, and like, hey, you hungry? Eat this. And then they try to eat it, and it's either inedible or it's something that's gross, disgusting, can make them sick.
Those are people that we call villains. Those YouTubers. I'm talking about the YouTubers. Those are bad YouTubers. Them's evil people.
Whenever you're on the street, you just don't know who you can trust. All you can really trust in the end is yourself. So, pre-packaged food, it needs to be very visibly not tampered with. That just makes it go so much smoother for everybody.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest thing, is in everything that you do when dealing with those who are unhoused, you have to first and foremost gain their trust. And sometimes dressing up like this ain't it, Chief. Sometimes dressing up like this is it. Other times, what you give them is something that they can look at it and go, okay, I don't think I can trust this person. Or they look at it and they go, okay, clearly this person has been asking questions and paying attention to what our needs have been in this community. So I'm going to trust them. And that's the thing. If you can build that trust, it's going to go a long way, because this isn't just a done in one scenario. Outreach work is never ending. It's continuous. We've been doing outreach work here in the St. Pete area for about 4 or 5 years now, and it's not stopping. There are still those who need the help, and they will always need the help. So if you're going to be doing it for as long as we are, which is as long as we've got air in the tanks, then you got to build that trust. You got to build that relationship. You got to build that community.
Right. So if there's ever been a point in time where you gave somebody like a sandwich you made and they threw it out, it wasn't personal.
No.
And it doesn't mean they weren't hungry either. They just weren't sure if they should or could eat it.
Yeah. So always get the prepackaged goodies. And then that way they can rest a little bit easier, because they're on edge all the time. They don't know who to trust. People are they're unprotected from the elements. Many times those who are unhoused get harassed by police. I'm not trying to trash on all police or anything like that, but they do have a fear of the police, and it's understandable, because they're constantly being kicked to the curb, constantly being told, don't sit here, don't be on this bench, go away. So everything that you do has to be with the mindset of, they don't know me, they don't trust me, I need to earn their trust. So everything that you give them, everything you say to them, everything that you present them with has to be done with extreme care and extreme thought.
So there you have it, some really good ideas about how you can get started doing outreach work as a real-life superhero effectively.
And we'll be sure to go into more detail on this subject in future episodes.
In fact, we have an entire episode centered around our good friend Crimson Fist, focusing on the various tips and tricks they've learned over the years from their outreaches as their persona.
That's coming next week, so definitely be sure to check it out.
But that'll do it for now today at Capes and Coffee. Let us know what piece of advice stood out to you the most, or send us any questions you'd like answered into the comments below.
If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel for all content related to RLSH Talk, share with your friends, and ring the bell to be notified whenever we upload any new content.
And until next time, stay super.
Nailed it!